Welcome everyone to our webinar today. To set the scene a little bit, this is a webinar from the series that we're running on the new SAP Commerce Cloud solution. So as many of you are aware, SAP is really taking the direction of cloudifying the platform. And we wanted to share our insights on the platform so far, and also we will be running a panel with one of our clients, Everything £5, who have recently gone live in May, and we wanted to share some learnings and insights about that as well. That session will run in 2 weeks' time, and we will share some more details about that session in the end of our session today, as well as you can find all the information and details about it on our LinkedIn page. With me today presenting will be Nikhil Anand. Nikhil is our Chief Solutions Architect at Portal Tech, and he will give us some more insights from the technical angle of the platform, what has changed, what kind of benefits you can expect from the solution. And of course, in the end of the session, we will round up with a Q&A, and we will share again details on the next webinar regarding the Commerce Cloud, our contact details, and other planned webinars that Portal Tech is running. This session is also being recorded, just for your awareness, and so recording and the slides will be available on LinkedIn. Just keep an eye on the page, on the event page. We will be posting link to these materials over the next few days. So let's kick off. To start, I would like to share our agenda for today. We will take a little bit of time to talk about Portal Tech Reply and introduce ourselves. For some of you, we might be a familiar face, for others perhaps less so. So let's just quickly go over that to understand our organization. And then we will dive into the SAP Commerce Cloud version 2, a bit of an overview on the platform and the advantages of the new cloud version 2 offering. We'll then talk about competitive edge that the platform still offers in the market and how it manages to maintain that competitive edge. Then we will proceed to a little bit of overview of what different versions of Hybris and SAP Commerce are bringing to the table, just to give everyone a reflection on the evolution of the platform. And because some of you might, there might be someone in an audience today who is on one of the previous versions, so it's a nice, we thought, overview of the functional benefits that an upgrade could bring. And as I mentioned before, we will wind up the session with questions and answers period. We'll talk a little bit about our next webinar and the speakers that will be presented there. And we will leave you with contact details and our future webinar schedule and links to that in this hour. Let's now proceed to the introduction. Oh yes, of course, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat in Zoom, and we will pick them up at the end of the session. So now let's turn to today's speakers. As I mentioned already myself, I'm a senior manager with Portal Tech Reply. I have background primarily within delivery function, but also a little bit of business analysis and a little bit of business development, kind of a jack of all trades. And with us today is Nikhil Anand, who is our Chief Solution Architect with nearly 20 years of experience in the field, extensive knowledge of commerce solutions, and he will be talking more about the platform shortly. In terms of Reply, for those of you who are not familiar with Reply, we are a fairly large organization. We are doing about 1 billion in revenue annually. We employ over 8,000 employees worldwide. We're predominantly based in Europe, but we have branch outs in the Americas, as you can see, US and Brazil, as well as India and China. And we also recently been developing our presence in Eastern Europe as well. At group level, we are SAP Gold Partner. And now if we look closer to Portal Tech Reply, our key competencies are spread between these three pillars. So our focus is on customer experience. So what is currently called SAP Customer Experience Suite, that includes commerce, CDC, marketing, sales, commissions, Qualtrics as well as coming into this mix. And this is also an area where we are ramping up our expertise. We provide strategy and roadmap consulting services to our clients, as well as help them with their large scale and high performance implementations. Of course, with this set of advisory, we also bring optimization tools. So we help our customers implement the contextualization, personalization, A/B testing, and especially also on the back-end digital touchpoint optimization, on the front end. And on more of the back-end side of things in engineering, we are quite knowledgeable around system integrations area, data migration, and performance tuning of the data touchpoints. We were previously a Hybris Platinum partner when Hybris still existed. We also at some point achieved a very special level of Platinum Elite partner worldwide. We were the only company that was holding that status. Today we have just recently gained SAP recognized expertise for SAP Commerce domain. And we have regained our SAP Gold Partner status as a company as well. Now, in terms of our references and our clients and companies that we work with, this is, I think, a nice overview of the main brands that we worked with. In terms of industries, I think you will notice that there are a few travel-related names. We worked with EasyJet and Emirates in the very recent past. We've done quite interesting work for them where they were working on integrating different products and services into their offering. So, they're trying to extend their commerce capability beyond just selling flights. In particular, Emirates was really focusing on building a marketplace, which was a very interesting initiative. But beyond that, you will also see quite a few retail names, which is also where we have a strong background in. So Monsoon, Accessorize, are a couple to name. We have been quite active in the B2B space as well. So we have Sunmar as one of our B2B clients, but also British American Tobacco that we're also looking into extending their commerce capability, but also looking into advancing their business intelligence practices. And of course, travel, again, comes back in P&O, ferries. And another one which we have been exploring, another vertical, was groceries. So you will see Coop, you will see Spar, you will see Iceland also mentioned on this slide. So these also have been the more recent client of ours, and we are definitely quite actively building competency in that area. So again, if there are any questions or anything you would like to ask, please post it in the chat in the Zoom window that you have, and we will pick it up end of the session. So thank you very much for listening about our introduction. We'd like to move now to the main content of our webinar today, and that is SAP Commerce Cloud version 2. And I would like to hand over to Nikhil for the platform overview for the next slides. Nikhil?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining and hope you're all well. Thanks for the intro, Kirill. I'm Nikhil Anand. I'm the Chief Architect at Portal Tech Reply. I am primarily responsible for the SAP CX offerings of PTR team from a technical perspective. I'm engineer by background, and as Kirill mentioned, I've around 15 years of experience in the commerce space. And I think the experience is spread across a variety of industry verticals. That was quite relevant from the customers' references that you saw on the previous slide. Hope we can make this session really useful for you guys. So I'll start with the SAP Commerce Cloud Platform overview. We had the idea of starting with a brief introduction to SAP Commerce Cloud because some of you guys might be quite familiar with the platform, new, old versions. But I thought a good starting point would be to give you an overall understanding of what SAP Commerce Cloud really offers. So SAP Commerce Cloud is primarily an omni-channel solution that allows you to integrate all your touch points, whether that be digital, physical, into one system to take care of all of your customer order needs quickly, securely, as well as reliably. So if you're looking for a commerce solution that will help you to market quickly, as well as create a highly targeted, relevant, and customer experience across all your different touch points, but a cohesive experience across all your touch points, you're probably looking at the right platform here where we are going to give you an overview of the capabilities. I'll start with some of the core commerce capabilities, which stand as the key areas of focus from a commerce perspective. We divided these capabilities into two sections. One are the key capabilities itself, which Core Commerce Cloud offers. And then the second aspect is the sort of enrichment features from a technical perspective that the platform offers you to create that enriched experience for the end customer and offer an end-to-end customer experience. So I'll start with product content management. Some of you might be aware that Hybris was actually started as a PIM. So it is quite rich in the product content management, whereby it offers a single information repository for all your multiple catalogs or a single catalog or multiple catalogs across different countries in many different languages, and allows you to manage that content that might include attributes, images, editorial, videos, and any such enriched experience that you want to show to the end customer on the storefront. It's a single source of information that allows you to support that collaboration between multiple teams that might want to contribute to the information that is managed in the product. It allows that via built-in workflows, so that between departments you could organize the workflow for each of your team member and manage it in such a way to reduce the overall time spent to manage that product, and cuts the cost as well by defining a well-defined workflow for the entire sets of departments. It improves the productivity and the efficiency by the features that it contains. So it's sort of the backbone of your storefront that allows you to provide all this information to the end customers. I'll touch base on some of the aspects of the core commerce capabilities. The second one that I'll pick up is the order management. So what does order management offers is it allows to manage the customer engagements from improving the shopping experience from start to end. You can configure all the availability to sell rules and also offer omni-channel fulfillment options. So to offer the same sort of behavior across your entire sets of touch points. It not only supports your B2C, but also complex B2C omni-channel order fulfillment scenarios, which might include complex fulfillment areas as well as sourcing, consignment, complex order and delivery options to manage those orders that are placed online. It allows the self-service options to the customers to provide an efficient return service if that is needed in the B2B scenarios. It gives you a single view of inventory, shipping, and returns, and helps to streamline that order management functionality that you would expect from a commerce system. In the end, it allows to streamline and simply and efficiently run your order allocation and allowing you to cut the overall shipping costs and the management overhead for those orders. Customer experience is another key capability whereby the SAP system, by its new decoupled architecture, allows you to build that rich customer experience whereby you could have a completely decoupled storefront from your backend, which could run at a completely different pace of implementation, whereby you want to develop new features based on completely different third parties that are not associated with your backend system, and the time to market is key in such areas, and it allows you to run in that fast, flexible, high speed manner and deploy to market quickly. The areas around search and navigation and building recommendations for the end customers and giving that bundling option to the end customers falls in the category of building all of that personalization experience for the end customer, whereby by combining the merchandising rules and the bundling capability, and from context-driven services, understanding the basic customer behavior, browsing behavior, as well as their buying behavior, you could create new bundles and offers that are very relevant to the end customers and could increase the overall average order value based on the offer that you create for them dynamically. So these are some of the key features that are offered by the Commerce Cloud version. The technical enrichment feature sets that are available from the Commerce Cloud are quite a few. So just to pick up a few, we've highlighted accelerators here, and which basically help you in the overall time to market for your storefront. SAP Commerce comes out with multiple different accelerators, whether that be B2C, B2B, as well as different industry verticals, starting from finance, retail, telco. And Kirill earlier mentioned on the customer slide that we've been involved with SAP in coming up with the SAP Travel Accelerator Excel, which basically enhances the commerce experience for the travel industry and organizes the data model as well as the customer experience and the processes within the solution that would suit the travel industry. And these accelerators basically allow the end retailers to quickly adopt the new functionality as well as go to market quickly for a completely greenfield implementation. And that's what differentiates SAP Commerce Cloud from a lot of other competitors. It has a big support of domain services, which I'd call the SAP portfolio services that are available, which some of you might be aware of, which are SAP Marketing, SAP Customer Cloud, which again help you in driving that context-driven behavior for the end customer and offer that personalized view, as well as market them at the right touch points, at the right behavior points wherein it could convert the customer into a buyer. The domain services allow the integration via the SAP SCPI services, which is the cloud platform integration out of the box, that allow to easily integrate with touch points of marketing, SAP ERP, as well as customer data cloud, and a whole lot of other suites within the SAP portfolio that allow you to quickly change the end offering on the storefront. As I earlier called out, it not only offers the B2C support from a modeling perspective of the solution, but also allows for the B2B rich feature sets, as well as B2B2C, which is one of the main focuses for Portal Tech right now around the B2B and B2B2C market. One of the new areas that SAP has come up to allow for the decoupling between the backend and the front end, which is the new offering Spartacus, which is an open source framework, which allows to utilize the basic building blocks for the storefront as a JavaScript framework built by SAP, which integrates directly with the SAP backend services offered by the SAP platform and allows to utilize all the headless feature sets that SAP have developed and allow to run the front end at a separate pace from the backend feature sets and allow all those integrations to work at a different pace. So these were a few feature sets that we wanted to highlight from an SAP Commerce perspective. Obviously, this is not an exhaustive list of the feature sets, and if there's an interest from any of you in knowing more, please drop us a message, and we would be happy to walk you through any specific feature sets that you would want to know. Kirill, can you move to the next slide? So the SAP Commerce feature sets that we just talked about, the cloud offering is another area that we wanted to discuss in this particular session. And this is the SAP Commerce Cloud offering, which is offering all the SAP Commerce feature sets in a cloud native Azure environment, which is flexible, quite agile, and scalable for the end customers, allows them to scale at the pace that they would really want. So starting really low from an infrastructure perspective, and then being able to scale at the pace at which their business grows. So there's no commitment upfront around the infrastructure that they need to take. So what does cloud actually offers from a feature set perspective, and why it is better from the on-prem offering that a lot of retailers currently utilize? So one of the key features that you would want from a cloud environment is a quick onboarding process, whereby you don't invest a lot of time of your team in setting up environments, in setting up all the configurations on those environments, and installing all the third-party components that you potentially need on those boxes for running your solution. So an immediate access to all these environments and varied across development, staging, and production as default from your license, but not limited to just these, but any more that you might want for your project itself are available on the cloud itself, which are preset and which are ready to go and deploy your particular solution and run on a SAP managed environment. It is obviously optimized for running the Commerce Cloud instance and has all the configurations that would give you that flexible and the performant environment to manage your system. It also is not limited in terms of its support to a very specific set of databases, but it also allows you to utilize the different databases, and you don't really have to be the managing partner of those databases, and it's something that will be managed on the SAP environment itself. So you could think it of as a database as a service from SAP, wherein you plug in your installation to that particular database, whether that be MySQL, whether that is MS SQL or Oracle, or in any case, any other licenses that you might have with a specific database, as long as it is supported by the SAP Commerce solution. There is a self-service portal. So you, as the customer of the SAP Commerce Cloud Management, you can manage your environments. You have entire visibility of what is present on each environment and what is actually running on each of these environments. You even have the capability to set up new users for your team itself to have access to them and manage different areas of deployment, manage different areas of continuous integration on these environments. Typically, organizations spend a lot of effort and time in setting up CI/CD pipelines for deploying to various environments. What you do get as part of the SAP Commerce Cloud is a streamlined and always enhancing environment for a CI/CD pipeline that SAP is building and is learning all the time and building in new enhancements into these CI/CD pipelines. So you are basically utilizing the experience of the SAP team rather than building and optimizing these deployment pipelines by your team. the entire backup and restore of the environments, and being able to take snapshots at different times, and being able to reset those environments with those snapshots is something that is being offered as the entire self-service portal capability itself. So you could add on to those snapshots and deploy them on different environments for your testing and debugging scenarios. The other aspect is always talked about in terms of SAP, because SAP is a platform. Commerce is a platform that allows you the best of both worlds. In essence, it allows you a set of features that allow you to go to market quickly, but it doesn't restrict you from enhancing and augmenting those feature sets with new functionalities that are key to your business, but might not be available as an out of the box behavior of the solution. In those instances, you configure and build those new functionalities and deploy it as part of your solution. But in a lot of instances, those extensions and those customizations are performed in a way that impact the upgrade capability of your solution to the new versions, and hinder your upgrade potential, as well as increase the overall time for those upgrades. What is best as part of the cloud offering is a code level check and a quality gate set up by SAP that picks up any such anomalies that might have been introduced as part of these customizations and as part of these enhancements on the platform that might impact your future upgrade potential. These are checked and called out upfront so that you could work on them and can streamline your solution, your extension to the best in practice and the best guidelines for those extensions. And these reports are quite useful for you to be able to upgrade at a later point in time, or if these issues will come up as part of the upgrades, for you to be able to work on them as technical debts in the future. You do have access to all the latest releases and also access to upgrade packages that might allow you to be able to upgrade with a switch of the versions and with the click of a button on the SAP Commerce Cloud. Now, these are upgrade packages that you decide to take or not apply for as part of your deployments. In some instances, these are very useful and allow you to be on top of the minor and the batch upgrades for SAP and allow for all of those security fixes, the performance fixes, the core platform bugs and areas that might be impacting your solution to be benefited from by having these upgrades automatically deployed on your cloud platform. And then comes the aspect of major upgrades, where it might be more important for you to review them and validate them against your extensions and your customizations over the few last customizations that you might have implemented. But that is enhanced because of the cloud check and the level code checks and the quality gates that SAP gives you as part of the overall offering. The data migration management is another key area that you need to consider as part of migrating from an on-prem instance or a CCV1 instance to the CCV2 instance that we're talking about in this session. The data migration is important, and it most of the time becomes a sort of a headache to manage because of the consideration of the downtime and the sort of upgrade issues that you might face because of these data migrations. What SAP offers as part of the Commerce Cloud services, with addition to your system integrator, are data migration templates and scripts that they have built with their experience and over a period of last year, which allows you to migrate from your on-prem instance or your CCV1 with very less effort at your end, but proven migration scripts by managing the migration from your existing instance to the new cloud instance. It also allows for that migration to not introduce any downtimes and low code issues on your environment itself, because it does that in multiple steps. And to reduce the overall deployment time and the overall downtime, it allows you to run them in multiple Delta scripts as well. So in essence, it's reducing your overall release time on the environment. One of the key aspects of the cloud or moving to cloud for any retailer is around the scaling capabilities that comes with that cloud instance. And a lot of retailers spend a lot of time on their instances, which are on cloud but managed internally, on being able to automatically scale them. SAP offers the automatic scaling of the infrastructure with set guidelines that allow you to scale without impacting your overall initial cost on deploying on that infrastructure. So it allows you to grow with the growth of your business rather than having a set of boxes and ready to run from the initial outset itself. The other aspect of the infrastructure is the monitoring and the management and all the key areas around the monitoring of the database, the monitoring of the CPU, the monitoring of the servers, the alert functionality, and all of that is something that SAP offers as part of the offering of the SAP Commerce Cloud itself. So there's a continuous server management that it offers with the OS patching and all the security updates that need to be deployed on the environments. And that's something that is managed by SAP team directly on the environment that SAP offers. The last and the most important aspect of any deployment on the cloud is what potential features does the system allows them for disaster recovery and the backend mechanisms that are available in the environment. Now, SAP has invested heavily in terms of building these DR areas, and they allow for RPO of 1 hour and RTO of 24 hours with even better numbers with premium offerings that they support on your licenses. They also offer basic database backups as well as incremental backups that allow you to mirror your production environment with your own built sanitization scripts to be able to mirror your production environments on staging or any other environment where you want to replicate and debug various scenarios. So from a cloud perspective, as you can see, it's an exhaustive list of capabilities that it offers. And the self-service portal and the DR just makes it easier for you to manage it yourself from a DevOps perspective by having all the features available rather than you having to build these areas with your team. Kirill, can we move to the next slide, please? So we just wanted to leave the sort of SAP Commerce Cloud overview with a brief benefit summary of what you actually gain by investing into SAP Commerce Cloud and by adopting the Commerce Cloud capabilities. So the first and the foremost aspect is that it doesn't just serve your business or its needs today. It allows you to prepare for the future. SAP as commerce as a solution is always investing in the best-in-class architecture and the best-in-class flexibility mechanisms for you to run much faster. One of the examples that we talked about before is the decoupling of the front-end and the back-end architecture and the investment in the OCC services over a period of time and building all those templates for the accelerators via Spartacus as the front-end solution. Now, all of this together, it allows you to build a lot of features. Some of the examples we've taken here are sort of social selling and personalization that drives the overall buying behavior of the end customer. So it's the key point here is it's not really just offering the features as you need them today, but it's always evolving and thinking of the future needs of the retailers and businesses and how they could benefit from the features that are continuously upgraded by the SAP Commerce environment. The commerce roadmap alignment is quite important because of the checks that are put in the Commerce Cloud and them having those validation steps so that you don't deviate from the roadmap of SAP Commerce and do not invest in feature sets and areas that could sort of impact your future upgradability, as well as impact you to be utilizing the new features that are introduced by SAP in the future. Better customer experience with all of the integration platforms that we earlier talked about, and being able to utilize the integration plugins that SAP are investing in with marketing, with customer data cloud, wherein you could utilize the GDPR and the personalization capability and drive your marketing campaigns based on the customer behavior on the commerce storefront is something that in essence drives the entire customer experience through not just one channel, but through all your touch points of the organization. And with CCV2, with all the OCC functionality and the headless architecture, it allows you to drive that customer experience in a much better fashion. The last and not the least is it reduces the overall complexity and the operational cost that you have to onboard for running a platform. So the idea here is to be able to run the business yourself for the retailer needs or your business needs specifically, rather than investing heavily in terms of amount of time and effort in building environments and running into huge operational costs as well as complexity. And the easiest bit here it offers is allows for an integration with your repository, and then from that point onwards it manages the entire CI/CD and the deployment pipeline for your solution. So these are the main summaries, benefit summaries that we wanted to leave you with. Kirill, next slide.
Yes, thank you. So next slide.
Like,
yep. Do you want to go ahead on this one, Nikhil?
No, I just wanted to hand you over the competitive edge, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Nikhil. Thank you very much so far for the introduction of the platform. So I'll take over for just one section, and we wanted to highlight a few points around SAP Commerce Cloud. So we've done a bit of research trying to understand, how does the platform actually still fit in the market? And how different solutions might be better or might be worse in terms of comparison and in terms of what a customer might want and need. And we found some interesting points, and we believe really strongly into these ones. So we wanted to accentuate these in this session just to make sure that we are still, everybody still understands the benefits that this platform brings. So first and foremost is that SAP Commerce Cloud is as comprehensive of a solution as it has ever been. The thing is, I think if you will go out in the market and you will really get your hands dirty and compare different capabilities that are available to you right now, you'll find that some of the participants, they have taken a road of rewriting the solution from scratch in a cloud on a cloud infrastructure. Others have gone down the path of acquisition, and then there are some that have kind of been assembling capabilities from different solutions. So in that context, I think SAP Commerce Cloud really stands out as the same solution that you've always seen and known, and a very comprehensive solution that supports B2B and B2C capabilities on a single platform, and is able to support some quite complex scenarios from both B2B and B2C worlds. And in that context, is a very, very flexible platform that can be extended, that can be deployed now in a cloud. But in essence, it maintains its feature parity throughout its evolution. And now in the cloud, you can expect the same feature sets and feature richness as you have always enjoyed with this platform. So I think that's one really, really strong and compelling argument for this platform. The other one is, of course, the wealth of extensions that are available for the platform. So extensions to backend systems such as ERPs and CRMs, PIMs, and the network of integration partners is really vast. As mentioned earlier, we ourselves have been a partner for SAP to develop the travel accelerator for the platform, and so there is a big library of extensions that any implementation can leverage to most prominent ERPs, CRMs, PIMs, and other solutions that are out there in the market that are available for you to leverage. Which kind of brings us to the next topic of accelerators. There are various accelerators available, and of course they can also be combined with each other, but the main ones to name is the B2B, of course, the B2C. B2C is needless to mention, I guess, today in today's world, but still, nonetheless, there are lots of these available. There is one available for telco that allows you to bundle physical products with services. There is the travel accelerator that really changes the data model and enables you to sell travel units. So transportation from A to B, and also enables you to sell ancillary services. And even with our latest expertise that we gained working with Emirates, it would allow you to combine retail items with the travel items all under one roof. So even more flexibility in that respect, not to mention financial services, which is kind of a world of its own that's there, plus a few other industry specific accelerators that are available for the platform. So really a wealth of knowledge, really a lot of building blocks that you could leverage to accelerate your implementation, and a range of partners that you could choose from. And last but not least, and this is, I think, particularly relevant for the platform, for the current climate out there in the market. And I think there's a little bit of standoff going on right now between the SaaS solutions and solutions like Commerce Cloud, or even some on-prem solutions is still holding some market share, although we know that is going away very soon. But I think that in the way that SAP Commerce Cloud is structured, being a cloud solution, it still leaves relatively good latitude for extensions and customizations. As Nikhil had mentioned before, you will be free to make changes to this platform together with your system integrator partner of choice. And there will be a process through which you can go together with SAP to make sure that your upgrades, your future upgrades are as seamless as possible, considering you have actually made some customizations. If you compare that to some of the SaaS solutions where the product roadmap is fairly rigid and you might be waiting for certain capabilities that might be critical for your business, you might be waiting for them for quite a long time. In this respect and in this context, SAP Commerce Cloud really offers you the flexibility and the speed that you need to achieve your business goals and achieve your business targets. So this is something we wanted to really include here and highlight, that even though SAP Commerce and Hybris previously had been on the market for a little while, it manages, with the investment that SAP has been putting into the platform, it actually manages to keep up with the trend, with the changing trends in the market, and is relevant today no less than it ever had been. And now to go a little bit maybe closer into what a migration, or what a transition to a new version of the platform, or ultimately to the cloud, what it entails. I think I'd like to hand back to Nikhil, and we'll go through certain versions of Hybris and Commerce Cloud to talk a little bit about the benefits that it brings.
Thanks, Kirill. So we wanted to highlight some of the key benefits in terms of the upgrade across the various versions of SAP Commerce. But before we go there, there's always a dilemma on what is the right approach to upgrade, and when exactly to perform that Hybris upgrade. Now, this is definitely not an easy answer, and a lot of it has to be given to some of the points that I'm going to talk about now. So the first and the most important one that most of the organizations consider is, are the current features that my platform offers, are they enough to support the business needs? Uh, as we mentioned earlier, SAP commerce is always evolving, always increasing the feature sets. So are the platform versions that I currently have in my solution estate enough to meet my business needs? And those could play an important role in terms of when you want to target the upgrade. It might be that a new marketing integration piece has been released in the latest version, and you want to exploit that leverage on the investment SAP has made, and you want to change the sort of personalization, the campaign management that you run as an organization, and take absolute benefit from the customer end-to-end behavior online and base your marketing campaigns on their behavior. So that's first point that I wanted to call out, that are the current features enough to support the business needs that I have? The second one, which is equally important, is the platform support. Now, typically, the SAP Commerce versions reach their end of life approximately 2 years after the release. And it stops supporting the platform and does not provide any technical support under the licensing and the contract with the solution that you have. So it is quite important that you remain in support of the platform that you're on and also benefit from the upgrades from time to time. By being on versions that are not supported anymore, you are in a way impacting your upgrade strategy as well and increasing the overall work that you will have to undertake at some point in time in building that upgrade. There are also aspects, the third one that I wanted to call out, are the support of the basic JVM itself on the platform that SAP Commerce supports. And it should remain compatible, but it can cause some issues with your environment and the running of the platform. So it's always important to be in line with the JVM support rather than being obviously not to be installed on really old versions of Java, which limit your extensibility as well as the development of new customizations that you want to build in. And the last important point is the patch fixes that SAP comes up with from time to time to support better performances, general performances and improvements, plus also security uh, loopholes that might have been fixed as part of these patches. So these are the four most important areas I think any business should consider when they are thinking of an upgrade. And there are quite a few technical tasks that are important when you're talking about these upgrades. It could be from the point of extensions that you have customized and SAP have modified those extensions. Those could be extensions, for example, the back office ones, the solar facet search one, which have been modified in the past that impact you, and you will have to upgrade your regular extensions to be in line with the SAP model now. Template extensions as well as reusing all these custom extensions that you have built and streamlining them to the SAP offer is quite important, and introduce the major piece of work for yourself when you're performing these upgrades. There are functional areas that you will have to consider as part of these migrations, because you might have developed some feature sets when you wanted to run ahead of SAP's roadmap and have implemented it. But SAP has now come up with those in the platform itself and an out-of-the-box behavior. And it could include any external libraries as well as any third-party components that it might have introduced as part of the framework itself, whether it be cockpit, Spring framework, external libraries, rules, infrastructure, Tomcat, and so on that have been upgraded over the period of time. There's also an aspect of the data type that needs to be updated as part of your migration, and that we talked about when we initially talked about the support that you get from SAP Commerce Cloud. Kirill, can you get to the next slide, please? So obviously there are releases every year, and now they've been streamlined to two major releases every year. But what we wanted to highlight and give some context into these upgrades is basically the versions that have been released over the last few years and the sort of feature sets that SAP has been building on, considering the market and the requests from their customers and the behavior of the end customers and how they could sort of bring more value to the end customers. I won't go into detail of each of the versions here, but some of the ones that I do want to highlight is versions that some of you might be aware of. People who have not got SAP Commerce is version 6.4, wherein SAP introduced an ASM module, which basically allows for the call center side of the business to be able to uh, approach the front end similar to a customer so that they get the same behavior, but also extend it to support special customer service feature sets that only customer services team could work on. What does it benefit the end customer with is allowing them to not introduce two separate sort of storefronts or two separate modules, for one managing the end customer and the other one managing the customer support team internally, wherein they could be very disjointed when they're built as two separate components. So the idea here was to introduce the module that the customer support team could use as well. And throughout these versions, 6.7 again, if I was to highlight, the search and navigation was completely re-implemented, and the upgrade of Solar to benefit from the new features and drive those adaptive search tools, the sorting feature sets and the facets that a typical retailer needs were introduced as part of the solution itself. The product catalog and organizing it from a workflow perspective was enhanced as part of 6.7. And you notice that as part of our study, and Kirill, can you go to the next slide? As part of our study, we identified that a lot of customers today are actually utilizing 6.7 or below of the platform versioning. That actually is one in one aspect end of life support, but also in another aspect lacking in a lot of new features and the areas that SAP has developed in the last 2 years. So just to call out 1808, which is the context-driven services that I was talking about earlier, the major benefit of it is to allow the customer journey to be completely personalized and be evolved based on the customer behavior. Also introducing product configurations, native integration points with the SAP tools is something that was introduced as part of 1808. And this has been evolved over the last few versions as well. As you would see in 1811, new authentication APIs, the extension factory was introduced and moving into more of a microservices architecture for you to build in your extensions and go into that micro and benefit from that microservices architecture where you're not overloading the entire commerce solution with new customizations, but are actually enhancing them with new components in the Commerce Cloud, but building them as separate microservices. Also introducing the customer data cloud integration points as well as the APIs to benefit from the integration. SAP Commerce and the latest versions, you would notice that they've got the Spartacus, which is the breakdown of the front end and the back end to allow you to benefit from a decoupled architecture. But not only that, it's actually enhancing the front end and introducing new components here, so that your time to market for building that storefront, irrespective of your vertical, is reduced, and you could leverage the benefit from the investment that SAP has made on those Spartacus components, which is an open source library. On the latest releases, as you see here, some of the areas that we wanted to highlight, the OCC is one area. wherein SAP has hugely invested, and now even the CMS capabilities are available through OCC via the headless mechanism, and Spartacus is integrated with it. All the WCMS tools as well for legacy on-premise customers are being available in the cloud as well, so that they don't lose and they don't have to re-implement all their functionalities over the period of time. I have already talked about the behavior tracking that you benefit from context-driven services, which is one of the key areas that was introduced in the recent versions of SAP Commerce, which could drive the entire recommendation, the bundling, the personalized search, the promotion behavior for the end customer, and in essence, impact the overall buying behavior of the end customer. Kirill?
Yep. Thank you very much, Nikhil. Yep. So thank you. This has been a really good overview. So hopefully you got a good idea of the evolution of the platform from this last section. And this is, I think, where we're taking this into the Q&A part of our session. So we've got 2 questions right now in the chat. Let me read that out. So someone's asking, will the slides be shared, please? Yes, of course. So slides will be shared after this session. We'll post a link in the event page in a couple of days' time when the recording is also available, and you'll be able to go back and consult them again. And Kevin is asking, what are the major benefits in adopting SAP Commerce compared to other platforms? Right. So Kevin, I don't know if you've asked that question before we were covering the section of the competitive edge, but in essence, if we go back a little bit, these are the main reasons to go with SAP Commerce. First of all, it's a really comprehensive solution. It's a platform that can support your B2C as well as your B2B business on one platform. And it is very, very flexible. So over the years, it had evolved to support some very complex scenarios from both worlds. It comes with SAP extensions with SAP Application Store, and it comes with a set of native pre-built extensions to either extend your solution or integrate to other systems around it. It comes with a set of accelerators to speed up your implementation timelines. Some of these accelerators are industry specific. So if you are in some particular industry, the chances are there is an accelerator available for you. And as a cloud solution, it still offers a quite significant extent of customization should you wanted it, as compared to other solutions that are out there on the market at the moment. So hopefully that answers your question. If anyone else would like to ask a question, raise a hand or just come off mute and please shout out, we'd be happy to take some questions right now. Right, we'll give it another moment. All right, we'll just check in on the chat at the end of this when we'll be about to close the session. But in the meantime, I'm just going to share with you a bit of detail. So this was the first session that we ran on Commerce Cloud, but we will be running another session in 2 weeks' time. A really interesting panel with everything £5 and SAP. And it will be really around the story of everything £5 and how they have decided to go for SAP Commerce Cloud and how it is really helping their business, how the implementation had been, and which learnings they have gained over the course of this experience, supported by SAP as well being present there. So the link to this page will be available at the end of this deck. So once we share the deck, or if you just go to our LinkedIn homepage, you will see that next session at the top of our news feed. So please don't hesitate to register, and we'd be very keen to see you there. We've got another question actually in the meantime. What is the recommended headless approach with SAP Cloud Commerce?
And I'll take that, Kirill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we talked about Spartacus as the storefront earlier, so one of the approaches, and they're not fixed approaches or static approaches. It's basically based on where your business is in terms of its technical landscape. So one of the options with the headless approach, the decoupled architecture that we talked about, is to utilize the Spartacus storefront, which is an open source, integrates with the CMS as well as the other features of order management, cart, checkout, and all of those good things of commerce with the SAP Commerce backend itself. But it doesn't limit you to just utilize this Spartacus as the storefront. It might be that you've invested in the last few years on a third-party front end, a CMS, for example, AEM or any other CAM like AEM, like CMS like Sitecore or so on, that you want to keep because you've invested heavily in terms of building that expertise and it works for you and you don't want to deviate from that storefront. The approach in that case for your business would be utilize the Sitecore solution, but integrate that with the headless backend implementation of SAP Commerce, where you leverage the best of benefits from the SAP Commerce, but you also keep all the learnings and the investment that you've made over the years on your front-end CMS capability that you have in-house. The third option could be you building a completely new customer solution, which is giving you the CMS and the front-end capabilities, but still the commerce features and the rich offerings of the commerce are hydrated by the backend system, which is the SAP Commerce in the backend. So the main option there is to utilize the OCC web services that are available and the route that SAP is following in terms of API first, in terms of all their functional implementation. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, Nikhil. Hopefully it does. If there's a follow-up, please just post in the chat. And in the meantime, we've got another question. What is the average implementation time for a B2C commerce solution on SAP Commerce? I mean, I could have a pass at it, and Nikhil maybe add anything if you like. I think right now, in terms of the, so B2C capability is a fairly mature capability, and of course there is an accelerator available. So I think we could easily be talking about the initial launch within, let's say, 6 months probably from starting discovery, then having a few months of implementation. If we really rely on the out-of-the-box capability, which is really rich within SAP Commerce Cloud, I think we could be looking at a few months of implementation and then maybe a month or two of hardening and transition. We could be looking at 6 to 8 months in total go live. Now that is of course with the caveat that we are heavily relying on the out-of-the-box features. In certain cases, some of the businesses require some level of customization. In those cases, you could expect a longer timeline. But I think also in those cases, there is a possibility to work out a delivery roadmap where we first launch the MVP, or for example, first go with an internal soft launch. So you're really getting a platform to deliver something within your organization within a time span of 6 months. And then you build a roadmap by which you add functionalities and then decide a point at which you want to take it to your final customer. And that depends, of course, on the complexity of your requirements. Anything to add here, Nikhil?
Yeah, I'd just like to add, based on your approach on your business in terms of the functionalities that you want to leverage from SAP Commerce, which is, as Kirill said, quite a vast set of rich functionalities for a retailer. It entirely depends on if you go with the out of the box approach that could basically get you up and running from a configuration perspective and no implementation aspect within a matter of 6 to 8 weeks. So you could be live and running because of all the rapid onboarding and the configuration piece that you need to manage within from starting the environment onboarding process to actually go live in 8 weeks time. And you could extend it at a later point, as Kirill mentioned, that might be the first focus for a go live, wherein the go-to-market strategy is to be live within 6 weeks. In that particular instance, we would recommend and most of our customers to go with the out of the box and just focus on the customer experience that they want to build in the storefront rather than going into an area of customizing the backend functionality, which necessarily is not needed as part of Pass1. And then from that point onwards, we advise our customers to work on areas that are key to their business because they're live now and they want to build on that offer that they have from the commerce solution, which might involve integrations with third parties to allow them from a global rollout perspective or building in new functional rich features. And that's something that they could build over a period of time and then could then continue a monthly go live pattern of building areas, testing, and then go live of those features. So I think depending on what your strategy is, it could be as little as 6 to 8 weeks for a go live. I hope that clarifies the release.
Yep. All right. Yep. We got the answer. Okay. So it looks like we're at the top of the hour. We're overrunning a little bit. So just wanted to leave you with a couple of things. So at the end of this deck, you'll find all our credentials. Feel free to get in touch and link up with us on LinkedIn. There is also a slide available with the links to all of the webinars that we have planned. Those that are in the past, you have a link to the materials, to the recording and slides. Of course, please do not hesitate to reach out to us if you want to discuss any questions from this session or any other session, or if you're considering SAP Commerce Cloud, we would be more than happy to talk to you. And I think on that note, thank you very much, everyone, for joining this session. As mentioned before, it had been recorded, so the recording and the slides will be available on LinkedIn. Please watch the event news feed for the link. And we are looking forward to see you at our next webinars, and in particular the Everything £5 panel with SAP, which we're holding in 2 weeks' time on 16th of July at midday. And you can register for that event through our LinkedIn homepage. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day.
Thanks all. Hope to see you in the second session soon.